Yo, what's good, y'all? This your boy Black G92. Now, my apologies for not uploading anything yesterday. My mood kind of changed and such. But as of today, I'm in a much better mood now. So, you might see some reactions. And right now, is actually in the middle of watching this Tyrone Magnus reaction to the Drinkers review of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which I have not seen yet, but I have watched only I have watched Tyrone Magnus's review and such like that. So that's the only thing I could go off of. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go check. I might check it out sometime. Probably when I get back from Ohio, sometime in the not sometime in the future, but more so around Saturday. Probably the third week, not the third week, but sometime that week after I get back, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check that movie out. Probably on maybe Thursday or Friday. Most likely it's gonna be just me by myself. Oh shit, someone done tuned in. But right now, we'll go ahead and just check out this little drinker reaction.
You don't need some asshole like me to tell you that Black Panther was one of the biggest success stories in the entire MCU.
Facts.
In no small part by a stellar cast of extremely talented actors, a prime slot at the tail end of the Infinity Saga when the momentum of the franchise was virtually unstoppable. I mean, Jesus, if Captain Marvel could make over $1 billion, then I think we can safely conclude that people were willing to watch pretty much anything with the Marvel name slapped on it. Not to mention a powerful socio-political movement that for some reason decided to make this movie its chosen champion, much to Disney's non-dismay. Either way, for its objective merits, Black Panther was a smash hit with critics and audiences alike. The question is, what happens when you take away all those vital props and advantages and replace them with nothing at all? Well, you end up with Wakanda Forever, a bloated, preachy, tedious, self-important, clumsily written mess of a film with an uninspiring protagonist, a tenuous plot, ridiculous action sequences, highly questionable morality, and the most boring, forgettable MCU villain since this guy.
I didn't think he was forgettable. I actually liked the name more. He was alright with me. And I think he has potential. I really do.
Well, I'll take your word for it. And whoever's in the comment section, whoever decides is right now viewing my live stream, let me know what you are and such like that.
And it made me feel absolutely nothing. Well, apart from mild boredom and irritation.
Damn.
As I said on my stream the other day, Wakanda Forever is to Black Panther what Wonder Woman 1984 was to its predecessor. Both movies are proof that you can't catch lightning in a bottle, especially when your bottle's completely broken. Anyway, let's get the plot summary over with. I apologise in advance for the lack of relevant footage on this one, but let's be real here. The film's just out, and it's basically impossible to put anything comprehensive in without getting a copyright strike.
Yeah.
Such is life. The movie opens with Shuri working frantically in her lab in Wakanda.
You know what? And I saw something the other day, and I might do a story on it, that said that even his family said that he would have wanted the part recast.
Yeah.
He wasn't that type of person and stuff like that. And that's what I thought just from seeing him in interviews. I was like, there's no way this guy was like a selfish egomaniac. He would want it recast. Like I said, even in this a movie right here, if you wanted to put him in a coma, like happened in the comics or whatever, and then Shuri take over, and then in the next one recast him because of the timing of his passing and filming and everything. It's kind of all too close together. I would get that and be fine with that. You know what I mean? It's multiverse right now, so they could have brought in another Killmonger. They could have brought it. They could have even, if they wanted to, because of the timing, they could have recast him, and it could have been a guy that was lost in between universes, another T'Challa. It could have been Michael B. Jordan from another universe. You know what I mean? That's T'Challa there or something. They could have did it, but you know, it is what it is, and it happened the way it did. And I couldn't tell you how many people.
Meet Febreze Small Spaces, the most convenient solution to lingering odors in any small space. One firm push activates 24/7 freshness. No batteries, no outlets, no effort, just freshness. Febreze Small Spaces.
newest thing from Pizza Hut isn't pizza at all. It's
I'm gonna have to try that.
so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just
I couldn't tell you how many people. Just go to my comment section, see how many people agreed. Like, I gave it a 2 out of 5. It is what it is. That, you know, the director and writer, you know, actors and everything, they had a lot to deal with. I get it. Political crap, pressure, fans, family, all this other stuff. They did what they thought was right, but it just didn't work overall. I don't care how much money it made. Captain Marvel, as crap as it made, it made that much money. And there's a caveat to that shit. We already talked about that a while ago. But Michael Bay's Transformers movie, as much as I love Michael Bay, a few of them were not good to me.
I agree.
Not good, and they still made a ton of money.
Yep. They really did, man. Like Age of Extinction, and now the second movie I didn't really mind at all, but it was kind of ran a little bit too long with being 2 hours. It felt like it was 2 hours too long. So yeah, I get what you're coming from. Yeah, there's a few Michael Bay films that weren't really up to par, and they still made billions of dollars in the box office. So yeah, he does have a point. Yeah, Magnus got a good point there, because like people love to bring up, oh, it made this much money in the box office. Does it mean the film is actually good? Not necessarily, because this films are like been ravaged by, say, audiences and critics alike that still made millions.
Just because something makes a ton of money doesn't mean it's good. The name, the franchise, the gotta know, the storyline, what happens in this, so it connects to this. They built the model that works. It's a cash machine, but it still doesn't mean that every movie that Marvel puts out is good just because it makes a lot of money.
Facts.
Her brother T'Challa is dying from an unknown illness, and the only thing
Now I'm gonna have to check out the film myself, because I don't want to get it spoiled, because I get sense there's gonna be some spoilers and drinkers little take on it, so I might check the film out myself. You know what I mean? But I did, but yeah, they should have did like this. Now, honestly, yeah, the director and such should have went ahead and recasted T'Challa. To be honest with you, because like it didn't seem like Boseman was all about just only one Black Panther, only one T'Challa. Nah, because he was open to that idea of other people taking on the role of T'Challa if something were to happen. And think about the other superheroes that were iconic that had different people portray them, but they couldn't do the same thing for the Black Panther. Sounds like they took the easy way out. That's why I'm kind of have mixed feelings about just wanting to see the movie. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and check it out for myself and see how it holds up. You know what I mean? Even though, like I said, they kind of took like I said before, they kind of just pussied out as far as picking a different person to portray the titular Black Panther, T'Challa and such, and see how it played out. May have worked, may have not. But the thing is, they've tried. But unfortunately, since they didn't try, it's like, so we left to this fan theory land. But I'm going to check out. But nonetheless, I'm gonna check out Magnus's.
Magnus Sites, so the drinker.
Oh man, I'm gonna check out Magnus's reaction to the Enough with the remakes, because I know he
has done another video. It says, enough with the remake. Now check this out. People have been hating how they have been remaking these movies. You do not F with people's escapism.
You don't.
These are characters that people have grown to love, and I already identify with who the character originally is, and who the character has been for umpteen years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I know he's going to make a lot of points in here.
He has. He really did.
Somebody tagged me in something on Twitter, and they said that they were rebooting Hellraiser.
Oh.
That it was going to be a woman. Pinhead was going to be a woman.
I've heard about that one, and I've heard about that as well. I was like, okay. I wasn't excited nor pissed about it. I was like, okay, because I read something about that too, if I'm not mistaken. Or matter of fact, someone else mentioned that at my job, said it was good. So, I might check it out sometime as well. But knowing the current climate of films, how they just want to do these different palette swap of like characters that were either male, white, what may have you. Yeah, kind of different.
Know how I thought about that. I feel about that the same way I feel about them changing all these characters the way they have been. I'm not a fan of Hellraiser. I don't care anything about Pinhead. However, I will watch the mayhem unfold as they try to introduce a character that never was this or that. You know, you can't do this without ruffling a whole lot of feathers because people already, like I said, identify with these established characters.
They really do.
And it doesn't have to be race, the same race as a person, the same gender as a person, you know, for a person to identify with them. I've spoken about this before. I identify with Superman because he's a nice guy that likes to do right. He doesn't have to be my color for me to like him or identify with the character. Does making him black make it better? No, it doesn't.
Facts.
I think most people would say that. There's certain characters we've grown up with and absolutely love, and we just thought of them as a cool character, you know? Identify with Blade, not only because he's black, because he's a badass motherfucker that don't take no shit.
Oh, yeah. He's a badass. Yeah.
It's not
Blade was a
because he's
badass.
black. Yes, he's a black man, and I like that. That's cool. But at the same time, like I said, he's a badass motherfucker that don't take no shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of characters I identify with that I absolutely love. Wonder Woman wants to do the right thing. I identify with that. And I love gorgeous women. She is that. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what the drinker has to say. Because they are remaking everything. I know people are flipping out about The Little Mermaid right now. And people have to understand that the racists are the ones getting the spotlight for being the majority of the hate. But I think most of us that have a thumb on the pulse of the fandom know it's not that. While they get the spotlight, the real reason why people are irritated with it is because it's not the Ariel that they grew up with.
Right.
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
They're racist. It's just like, why do y'all keep changing everything? Why do y'all keep changing the characters that we grew up with? Mary Jane is Spider-Man's wife, and everyone knows that she is known for being a gorgeous redhead. So when you change that, a gorgeous red-haired white woman, when you change that, the fans that have grown to love this character get irritated with that. Because it's like, yo, this isn't what she was. It's not inherently wrong. But the issue is that you're changing what people have identified with for years. And some people say, oh, well, you shouldn't, you should get used to change or you get left behind. Not everything has to be changed.
Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that, Magnus, because everybody swear up and down everything needs to change and keep up with the times and such, but some things should just be left alone. You know what I mean? And also, people flip out when it's like an anime series and the voice actor changes. Like, so it's not just exclusive to like physical appearances of characters, but also like the voice, even the voice actors of certain characters. Like when you hear like how if they change out the actress or the actress that does the voice of a animated character, people gonna flip out and have issue with it because hold up, this ain't the person we grew up with. This ain't the person we recognize. This ain't the voice that we know as that character. So yeah, some things just should be just left as it is because it was good for when it was made and it still holds up for that reason alone. You know what I mean? So some things, not everything needs to just be all twisted, deconstructed, and like alternate takes be made to it. Like, you know what I mean? Not everything needs to go through that. You know what I mean? So
certain things that no matter what are good the way they are.
Exactly.
Like the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a lot of things in humanity that, you know, it is what it is. So now that I've given my take, let's see what the drinker has to say.
You know, the older I get, the more I've come to realize how fucking lucky I was to grow up in the 1990s. It was a simpler, more...
He grew up in the 90s, so I must have a decade on him. I grew up in the 80s. God, I love
Optimistic. The decade when movies
Yeah, I think Magnus mentioned he was up there in age and whatnot, so I can definitely understand why, because there's folks in that little age group, that people that grew up in the 80s said the same thing. And as a kid that was born in the 90s, I can kind of attest to that. But I more so came of age in 2000s, but I did watch my fair share amount of shows and movies when I was a kid, of course, to safely say that, yeah, the 90s were a grand time.
still awesome. Britannia was still cool. People didn't get fucking offended by everything. Lara Croft was an awesome ass-kicking adventurer with a fantastic pair of polygons that constantly apologizes for existing.
I got
He was trying one like nice pair of guns. He about to say the other word.
I had gotten out of gaming when Lara Croft was becoming really popular. Like, I had the first PlayStation, and during that run is when I dropped off. So I was into Tekken and a few other things, but I never got into Resident Evil. As I was leaving gaming, Resident Evil came out, Lara Croft, and everything else. So that's funny. That's funny to me. But that was that era.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Going online was a once-a-week treat that cost £10 an hour and required a trip to a special cafe instead of an all-consuming dystopian nightmare where you spend millions of man-hours arguing with 12-year-old edgelords on the other side of the world. It was also the era of the Disney Renaissance, a roughly 10-year period of unbridled creativity and commercial success, when Disney's animation studios cranked out classic movies like Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, The Lion King, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan. They were fun, exciting, heartwarming adventures that dealt with timeless themes and ideas, and if you were a young kid in the mid-90s like me, then I can pretty much guarantee you knew the soundtracks to these films
Yep.
by heart.
Yep.
Really, it seemed like Disney could do no wrong. The wide-eyed kids of the 90s are now cynical 30-somethings weighed down by the responsibilities of adult life, probably with asshole kids of their own, and quietly pining for the simple, carefree days of their childhoods.
I was just thinking, could you imagine, like, the whole Hellraiser thing? If that thing is true, could you imagine them doing, like, a new Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's like Frida Krueger?
No.
What's the female equivalent of Jason? I don't know. Jasania? Jasania? Friday the 13th, starring Jasania. Like, it just cracks me up. Like, I don't understand why they have to check all these boxes. Like,
I don't get it neither.
I assume Superman, they'll do a Superman movie and he'll be a dwarf. And people won't have a problem with dwarves. They have a problem with the fact that that's not Superman.
Yeah.
Everybody loves dwarves. You know what I mean? Dwarves have been in entertainment for a very long time. And they've got their own set of things they've dealt with that were bad and good for them. You know what I mean? But it's just so strange to me that they keep twisting and changing things so much. I mean, entertainment's already inclusive. It's already inclusive. That's the strange thing. You know, it's like these established characters don't have to be changed to bring people in, because there's already original characters of every single walk of life that is very popular out there. All you have to do is license the right IP, the right book, the right anime, whatever it is. There are stories from Africa, from Asia, from, you know, the Americas, you know, all over that you can license these already. Things like, someone said, I could have swore I read something, that someone said that there was a movie that came out.
Yeah, Hollywood is like creatively bankrupt, so yeah, they won't take that risk because they ain't trying to lose no money. They gonna stick to what's familiar and what people already love and know, and keep on making crappy remakes and reboots and such, instead of taking that risk and giving these original stories the spotlight they deserve. Because there's definitely a lot of them out there that haven't gotten adaptation, you know. So yeah, it would be nice if there's gonna be a group. It's gotta be like a group of directors gonna take that initiative to do so, regardless how much money it makes. You know what I mean? Said property makes in the first week, because You know what I mean? It's always good. That's because it's always good to kind of take risks and do some new ideas and such, instead of just doing the same old, same old. But you know, like I said in my last, I think I said this yesterday. Hollywood is creatively bankrupt. They're gonna just keep on doing what they're doing because the demand is there for those crappy remakes.
People in hot air balloons, like setting a record. But the two people that did it were men, but the director changed one of them to a woman to be inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? What?
Mm-hmm.
Now look,
Mm-hmm.
already people take liberties with historic movies already. I mean, people are fighting all over the Woman King right now, and you know, like I get it, but like certain things I think go way too far. You know what I mean? Like, and I know with the Woman King, I know that people are saying they make the bad guys the good guys and all this other stuff. But there's a lot of other movies out there that weren't accurate. So I understand why certain ones get a pass and certain ones, you know, don't. Like, I don't get that. Is it a color thing? Or because everyone's so extra sensitive now? Or whatever. I'm ranting right now. But stuff is just strange. I mean, what
Very
are you
strange.
Make a movie about Martin Luther King one day and he's actually going to be a woman? It's going to be Martina Luther King? I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it'll get that far now.
The once family-friendly and patriotic Disney has mutated into a horrifyingly monstrous parody of its former self. An insatiable, franchise-gobbling monster relentlessly consuming good ideas and beloved characters to churn out an endless conveyor belt of bland, mediocre sludge.
The sludge must go on.
by the way, I actually really like the Lion King remake. Other than one particular performance and like really nothing else. I liked that. And I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of people were angry that their faces weren't very expressive.
Yeah, that's the
However,
main thing.
More based in reality, animals don't smile and all that, or at least very few animals smile and, you know, have human-like expressions on their face. So I was like, this is funny. I even pointed it out to Scarlett when we were there. I said, you notice how their faces don't smile and they don't. I said, but that's how animals really are. Like, they don't have our expressions. So if they could talk, I guess they'd be more like this. But then when you're saying if they could talk, well, that's more fantasy. So why ain't they smiling too, right? So I get why there are a certain group of people that didn't like it. Probably the majority.
Yeah,
they wanted their faces to be more expressive, like the regular animated one was good.
Oh yeah, of course.
One CGI, one's not. But I get both sides of it. I liked it. Anyway.
Yeah, we all have our opinions.
Is for them what innovation and risk-taking is for NASA. It was only natural that they'd inevitably turn their eyes towards the past instead of the future. And truly, what better past to pilfer than the golden age of animated movies? I mean, they certainly got off to a strong start with Beauty and the Beast, a live-action remake of the 1991 original.
Was that any good?
It was okay.
Maybe he'll tell us if it's good, but I never saw that one. I really loved the animated one.
Which basically replicated the entire movie shot for shot.
Okay.
Sure, you could probably argue how lazy it was to basically make the same exact film again and sell it to a whole new generation, but who the fuck cares? Disney certainly didn't, especially when it made a shit zillion dollars for them. Talk about money for old rope. Why take the chance on new, unproven ideas when you can basically dust off old scripts and sell childhoods back to them at an inflated price? The floodgates were well and truly open, and before you knew it, we were getting bombarded with modern-day remakes of classic animated movies. The only problem is that with each new installment, they got progressively more shit. But the company shit tons of money, so who cares? Well, all of that changed with the release of Mulan a couple of years ago.
That was the first one
a
that
film
really
that went
bombed,
wrong
right?
in basically every way possible. For a start, it released in the middle of a global pandemic when the prospect of going to the cinema was about as appealing as a colonic irrigation using habanero chilies. Projects to pander to the Chinese market backfired spectacularly since it fucked up most aspects of Chinese culture and history. And for rather obvious reasons, Western audiences weren't exactly thrilled by all things Chinese at that time either. As a result, the film bombed, and it wasn't the only one to attract negative attention. The first teaser trailer for the upcoming
Makes me wonder. Just, I guess the simple question is, what liberties are okay to take historically, and what liberties are not okay?
That's a good question.
I mean, the whole sex of a person, I think that's like ridiculous to change a person's sex. It's also ridiculous to change a person's race or ethnicity when you're doing a movie based off of true events or historical events. You know what I mean? Like, like with 300, that was based off of a graphic novel, which was based off a real war that did happen, a battle that did truly happen. And when I was watching on the History Channel, when they were talking about it, they were saying Leonidas didn't actually last to the end, like in the movie, which I thought was interesting.
Interesting.
But it's cooler to have the courageous king last to the end.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, what is okay to take liberties with, and what is not okay to take liberties with?
The world may never know.
When the Elvis movie came out, I had heard people kind of talking, and the whole thing is, when I was a kid, I used to hear all the time whenever black people talk about Elvis, they would talk about how he stole rock and roll, and became the king of something that he didn't invent, and sold for black people. And then they also there's this story going around, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but they said that Elvis said that the only thing a black man could do for him was shine his shoes, which lets you know what he thought about black people. I don't know if it's true or not. However, when the Elvis movie came out, which I didn't see, so you guys can tell me, did it talk about whether he was racist or had an issue with black people? Did it talk about that he, quote unquote, stole or took black music, made it his own, and became the king? You know what I'm saying? Because it makes me think of the whole thing with the Woman King thing. That rhyme didn't play it. Whether, because people were like, well, did they tell how they sold slaves? And I was like, yeah, it did. People are like, the venomous anger I saw in my comment section, like, I had to delete certain ones because people were just getting so racist and violent. But I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's okay and what's not okay to include? You know what I mean? People were saying, oh, well, they were destroyed by the French, but then people were like, well, that wasn't the battle that was in the movie. So why are you mad about that? This happened before that whole thing happened. I just saw so much. So what's okay to include? And when you're doing a movie about a group of people or one person, what should you put in everything? Or should you, take out what do you do? You know what I mean? It's interesting. I mean, me personally, I would say be as accurate as possible.
That's where I'm at with the whole thing of historical pieces, historical period drama films, is be as accurate as possible. Of course, things gonna be left out because of runtime concerns. Because there's only so much you can put into a two maybe 3 hour movie. Like, you have to, some things gonna be left out. Some scenes may end up in the cutting room floor because of runtime reasons, and hopefully the whatever scenes are left out aren't character building moments, because there's going to be a disjointed mess and may not come out translated well for the audience, because most audience ain't really read up on world history like that. The average moviegoer ain't well versed in history like that. Only historians are into like the facts of a historical piece. They will be the ones going to point out all the inaccuracies and the changes of whether motivation, settings, character moments, what may have you. So yeah, it's a good question. What's not okay to put into it, and and we mentioned about the Elvis Presley statement about like the whole shoe shining thing. Like, I heard that one was false. I heard that statement was false. I don't know how true. That's what I read somewhere. I think it was on Wikipedia. It's proven to be false. So it's someone may have like made that one up just to make him look bad. as far as whole thing of Elvis stealing black music and being famous off of it, 900% positive about that. Even though I used to somewhat buy into it, but once I got older and started reading up his backstory, and even there's an interview where he mentioned he gave props to those black singers that he idolized growing up. So, so I can't really buy into that neither. Even though I kind of grew up hearing that, because that's something that's real common in black households. About Elvis Presley. So, but once I look into it more as far as whether or not he did so. But after I saw that interview, not the interview, I read the little quotes from it. It's like, maybe he wasn't a thief. Maybe the publications gave him that title, and probably just, I don't know. But I might look into that, though. I might look more into that.
Because I think that every movie could be made really well if you do it accurately.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you tell it right. I understand, like the whole thing with Leonidas lasting to the end when he really didn't, when he died earlier in battle. That could have been done right with the men moving on in his name. You know what I'm saying? It could have been done, but it was based off of the movie. I mean, based off the graphic novel, which was based off of real life events. So in the graphic novel, he lasted to the end. So you know what I mean? Like it's very interesting subject to discuss.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. I never really put much thought into it, but yeah, I knew that the movie 300 took liberties because the graphic novel took liberties from the real story. So yeah, it probably would have been a much different movie if it did stuck to the actual story that that inspired the graphic novel. So it would have been nice if they did stuck to the original and had people carry on with under his name and such in his name and such like that, and tribute and all that. That would have been interesting to see, but still an awesome movie nonetheless. So.
Remake of The Little Mermaid has got one of the most brutal YouTube ratios since Frost decided to publicly torpedo her own company live on air.
And I've seen thumbnails for this. Apparently, GTV is going through something right now because of this.
Oh shit! What's good, Jacoby? And I'm gonna do a reaction to one of the videos that you sent me. I think it was like the McMahon video, whatever. I'm gonna do a reaction to that one probably sometime in the evening, and I might do the one that Lewis sent me. I might do that one sometime after I get done with this live stream. So stay tuned for that.
Whole thing, I don't think I even covered it, but I was just like, wow, okay, we going in, all right. It's gonna make people mad. I know it's gonna make people mad. You guys know I actually interviewed for a host position for GTV.
What?
Yeah, it was like a couple of years ago.
Wow.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but I had to remember something. I had to remember a script for the position, and I didn't remember it. And so I got interviewed, and I did pretty well, but I think they may have had an issue with the fact that I didn't remember it. I got sidetracked with things, so that's my fault. But I mean, shit, if I had gotten the part, would I have wanted to be part of GTV right now with all this hate and hell that they're getting? I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe I guess it's good that I messed up.
And to be honest, it's not entirely hard to see why, because this movie basically exemplifies everything that's bad about these fucking remakes. And no, I'm not talking about the fact that the actor playing a mythical sea monster has got slightly different melanin levels in her skin. Disney baited the fans with that one.
They really did.
They could use the resulting backlash to silence any actual criticism of the movie, and they fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Okay, that's enough nautical references for now. Bigger issues are more fundamental ones that you can apply to basically all of the Disney remake movies. I mean, for a start, take a look at the color palette of this thing. Look how dark and muted and subdued everything is, and then compare it to the original animated movie. You see how much more bright and vibrant and interesting that world looks?
I know, right?
It's completely unrealistic that the deep ocean would look this way, but it doesn't really matter because
Right.
it's an animated movie with its own visual style, and that style allows the artist to set their own rules for how you engage with it as the audience. But the moment you bring live action into the equation, equation, you immediately constrain yourself with the limitations of what people expect to see in the real world. That means the deep ocean is now a dark and foreboding place where Ariel is framed like some kind of terrifying monster, funky heroine longing to experience the world above. Jesus, if you swap out the soundtrack for a horror theme.
Hold on. Oh man, I wish.
For effortless shape, one efficient stroke. Gillette, the best a man can get.
No es necesario preenjuagar. Casket Platinum con fregado y enjuague integrados. Solo raspa, llena y listo.
If you swap out the soundtrack for a horror theme, the face reveal feels like it should be more like this.
Hold on.
And then compare it to the original animated movie. You see how much more bright and vibrant and interesting that world looks? Yeah, it's completely unrealistic that the deep ocean would look this way, but it doesn't really matter because it's an animated movie with its own visual style, and that style allows the artist to set their own rules for how you engage with it as the audience.
Yep.
But the moment you bring live action into the equation, you immediately constrain yourself with the limitations of what people expect to see in the real world. That means the deep ocean is now a dark and foreboding place where Ariel is framed like some kind of terrifying monster. Jesus, if you swap out the soundtrack for a horror theme, the face reveal feels like it should be more like this.
I actually thought it was fine. I did. You guys saw. I think you guys saw my reaction to the trailer. And that's his opinion. He's welcome to it. I know a lot of people have probably the same opinion. I didn't think it looked bad at all, and I thought her singing was great. But
The singing was awesome.
I told you. The world is burning, and I'm sitting here watching it. I'm no longer going to behave emotionally about a lot of these things. I'm just going to watch it because I've already said my piece in several videos, and I'll continue to say my piece. I think they're going to continue to lose money over and over and over and over and over again till they finally get the idea that people would rather have original new characters with different races rather than, or genders and everything else, every other walk of life, rather than changing the characters that they grew up with. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is.
Yep.
So I was fine with it. I thought the singing was great, but I don't think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to bomb massively. I don't think they're going to make any money. And who knows, maybe they've got enough money to continue over and over again to keep doing the same thing until they're broke. I don't know. But sooner or later, they got to course correct.
Oh yeah, it's going to burn. It's going
stand this stuff. The majority of people can't stand it. So
it's going to crash and burn.
Especially noticeable in The Lion King, where the animators have been given the almost impossible task of while also keeping them looking photorealistic. And the results were the original movie. You see how expressive and compelling the performances are? Yeah, obviously real animals can't move, talk, and gesticulate anything like this, but it doesn't matter because just like the Little Mermaid movie, it's an animated film with its own rules about how these things work, so it becomes very easy to suspend your disbelief. Supposedly realistic CGI, on the other hand, doesn't have that luxury.
It doesn't.
Jesus Christ, don't even get me started on this traditional cell animation.
Man, I actually enjoyed Aladdin, man. Like I did mention this in my other live stream about it. I actually enjoyed the live action remake of Aladdin, and plus Will Smith did his own take on the character of Genie. So
like that too. I really went into it scared. I was like,
I was as well.
I hate this. But it ended up being a lot more entertaining than I thought.
It really did. I agree.
I know it had certain elements to it.
Oh yeah, the theme song.
Intensive, and I know it can't deliver anything like the detail you get in Pixar movies, but holy shit, there's just something so much more satisfying about it. Knowing that actual artists had to draw and animate this stuff frame by frame instead of pre-built character models running a series of programmed movements is just so much more human and true. Every fucking Pixar movie nowadays looks exactly like the one that came before it. They all have the same bland, generic soulless look about them, like you're eating a meal made from the same basic ingredients, only arranged in a slightly different way. I mean, would it kill movie studios to release the occasional film using traditional animation for once? Another issue that's been coming up more and more with these remakes is the alteration of characters and storylines to appeal to
Modern audiences. Modern audiences.
Yeah.
Mm.
I saw a video the other day where they were talking about, they're like, we don't see any more of their animated movies anymore. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm.
We don't see the animated movies anymore. It's all CGI movies, which is the form of animation, but you know what I mean? The hand-drawn stuff, we don't see that anymore. And I miss that. I really do. I wish we got both, because I love Pixar stuff and the CGI animated stuff, but hey, can I get the, you know, I mean, shit, even Dragon Ball Super last movie went CGI or computer animation. I liked it, but I enjoyed Dragon Ball Super Broly way more.
Mm.
I like that last movie.
Mm.
And a lot of it had to do with the hand-drawn aspect. By the way, are we going to get an uncut version of that that's going to show us what happened in between Bardock sending Goku off and, you know, getting killed by Frieza? Let me know.
Mm.
It started out with little things, like Emma Watson insisting that Belle be an inventor and engineer in Beauty and the Beast, because I guess being a fun-loving, intelligent young woman desperate to get out into the wider world and escaping vicariously through the medium of books just wasn't
I
enough
know
for
they
her.
changed,
She had
yeah.
to make her into Elon fucking Musk as well.
Mm.
But whatever, it was just a minor change that didn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. But what it did do was set the precedent. The problems, however, became more severe in Mulan, which basically reworked the protagonist's entire character arc.
Yep, sure did.
Insufferable modern convention that
Mm.
hero characters have to be fundamentally great at everything right off the bat.
Yep.
Inspiring lessons about the value of
Mhm. Yep, and they left out Mushu.
I find really good subtitles.
Definitely does.
Introducing the first ever Sierra EV Denali. EVs.
Inspiring lessons about the value of hard work and perseverance here, it was all about appealing to female empowerment in the laziest, most superficial way possible.
Mm.
Speaking of which, here's a little hint from a January 2022 interview with star Halle Bailey about the direction The Little Mermaid is going to take. I think everyone will be pleasantly surprised by some updates of the themes of the film. More
Lord
so on Ariel's
Jesus.
side of women empowerment and her taking her power back.
Mm.
I mean, I thought the original Ariel was pretty empowered already, considering she saves Prince Eric's life on more than one occasion,
Mhm.
and her decisions drive the entire course of the story, but whatever. I guess because she occasionally needs help from other people, she's just not modern enough. Can't wait for Eric to be transformed into the same useless, bumbling buffoon template that Disney used for every single main character in their movies.
This made me so angry.
Mm.
So damn angry.
Mm.
Because there were articles coming out talking about he was also supposed to be force sensitive and it was supposed to build something around him and her, and they decided to make him a damn buffoon.
They really did.
I hated that they did that. 'Cause I like John Boyega as an actor, and I was stoked. I was like, this is so different. We got this stormtrooper that's gonna end up being force sensitive. Oh shit, he's gonna be a Jedi. That's great.
Right. That, for real though, like they really set him up to be something more than what they did with the last two films in that sequel trilogy, especially in the first one. Because like I said, the officer stormtrooper rebels against the First Order, was able to wield a lightsaber. Like, oh snap, he might be force sensitive. But final product, the Last Jedi, seen him regulate back to being a wimpy sidekick. And even the chance of him sacrificing himself for the greater good was hijacked by, I forgot what his name. The character I think her name was Rose or some shit. The new love interest. I was like, man, they removed so many different moments, and also the last movie had him screaming, right. Like they made him to a wimp.
It's a different twist. Nope, not at all.
Days, and Ariel to be an unstoppable kick-ass girl boss who fixes everything all by herself. Modern writing, everyone. Fuck knows what it must be like to be a little boy growing up in the 2020s. The sad thing though is that actors like Halle Bailey are going to get unfairly caught up in the
Yeah.
I'm sure she's a perfectly nice person that'll do a great job with the role, but none of that really matters because all people are talking about now is the backlash against her casting. And for what? If the real objective here was to create more lead roles for diverse actors, which is absolutely a good thing, then why not come up with new stories specifically for them instead of deliberately stirring up controversy by crowbarring them into stories that have already been told?
Exactly. Exactly. Which is what I've been saying the whole damn time. All these months or years. Talking about this. This is what all of us are mainly saying. Yes, I know there's sprinkled racists or troublemakers over here and there. I get that. But they're a minority. The majority are just like why? I don't understand. Are they going to reboot it and Darth Vader's suit is going to be white next time? I don't understand. Like, that's not Darth Vader. I don't get it.
I don't get it neither, bro.
Absolutely not.
There's an entire world of rich cultural traditions, legends, and folklore from every conceivable country, race, and creed just waiting for you to try out. So why keep retreading the same ground over and over again?
Exactly.
Why keep retelling stories that have already been told far better by previous generations?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, of course. And I guess that's what this really comes down to. A quick, easy, and reliable way of making money that requires minimal investment of risk or creative energy. It's the same reason that Lucasfilm keeps digging at the hollowed-out core of Star Wars, why Paramount subjects us to endless Star Trek prequels, why Amazon are trying to launch their very own Game of Thrones using Tolkien's legacy as a billion-dollar canvas to finger paint on. It all just feels so hollow and meaningless. Like these stories were generated by some AI in a lab somewhere in order to generate the highest return possible on investments. I mean, I'm under no illusions that big movie studios were ever particularly invested in artistic expression, but holy shit, there's at least a pretense of trying to tell a worthwhile story along the way. The movies of the Disney Renaissance are so fondly remembered now because they struck the perfect balance between timeless ideas, likable characters, contemporary humor, creative talent, and vibrant, colorful animation. They sold themselves on their own merits instead of resorting to member berries or cheap manufactured controversy to drum up interest, and as a result, they had to be really fucking good in order to work. And that's the problem. What we're producing now isn't. It's like last night's stale dinner quickly reheated in a microwave and plonked on your plate. But drinker, you magnanimous maestro of media mastication, I hear you say. Don't worry about this stuff when the original movies are always going to exist. No matter how bad things get now, we can always...
Power. I miss those Terry Crews commercials of Old Spice.
No matter how bad things get now, we can always fire up the classic originals and make sure that the next generation gets to enjoy the kind of timeless entertainment we did as kids. Oh, you sweet summer child, you. The problem is that fewer and fewer people bother to invest in physical media these days.
Yeah.
Because I guess the effort of heaving their fat, sweaty arses off the couch and shoving a disc into a player is just too much. Instead, they resort to doing what pretty much everyone else does these days and download their movies from a streaming service. But the big problem with digital media is that you don't really own the thing that you're watching. All you've got is a...
Yeah. And I own a lot of stuff digitally. And, excuse me, I think I'm going to start buying everything else that I get with the Blu-ray or HD disc along with the code. So I own them in every form and fashion because if they're changing stuff digitally, that's all they did with the Spider-Man clip. Everybody was too sensitive for that. It was just a damn joke. And they cut that.
Damn.
And it's like, okay, so if you want to see the original one, you got to make sure you find a disc out there that somebody owns that, hopefully you own it, where you can say, oh, okay, that's what it was. You know what I mean?
It's a license to download the source file, and if that source file should ever be removed or altered, well, then you're shit out of luck. We've already seen the little edits and tweaks that companies have started making to older movies that are now considered problematic.
Problematic.
I think it's going to be before it starts happening to newer stuff. Movies that contain scenes or depictions or story beats that someone somewhere in some miserable corner of Twitter finds offensive. Characters that don't quite align with the rules of modern writing. Storylines that go against the
message.
The fact is, it's no longer sacred, and it definitely isn't.
I don't know how many reactions it took, but now I'm saying it with him.
The message.
How many of you, when you watch him, say it with him?
I've started to do so as well.
A really good show that you got going here, Drinker. I am now saying your lines with you.
The message.
Because there are fewer and fewer people who care about preserving it, it's more vulnerable than ever to the insidious, grasping manipulations of the present. Little by little, scene by scene, movie by movie, the stories that once captivated and inspired us are being quietly removed and supplanted by cheap, cynical, soulless reproductions. And if we're not careful, if we don't push back against this shit while there's still time, then we may just find ourselves in a world where there's nothing left to protect. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Go away now.
Great job, man.
Yep.
As usual. I tell you, he didn't say anything that none of us haven't already been saying, man. It's like we all been saying the same thing. It's just, it's ridiculous. And it is what it is. Like I said, at this point, I'm just relaxing, watching. You know that meme where the little girl's watching the house burn?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like for me right now. These movies, I look back and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's just watching the house burn. It's watching the house burn. It's the way. I don't like watching it. It's part of my job. Because I do reactions, movie reviews, television show reviews, and everything in between. So it is what it is. Go follow the Critical Drinker and tell him Tyrone Magnus sent you. If you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts to this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers. Woo!
Oh shit, there's a podcast on Candace Owens speaking on homosexuality. I'm gonna have to check that one out. In my own time, of course. What? There's someone doing a reaction to The Crow? Ooh, that's gonna be awesome. The Crow is an awesome movie. Even though it came out almost 30 years ago, still an awesome movie. Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. Appreciate Jacoby for the sign on. And if you watch this now, this is a live stream. Decide to do a new live stream before I go ahead and get started on these reactions.